Has Russell Wilson already peaked?
I don't think he's already peaked. I believe that Russell Wilson still has great years left in him. Mm-hmm. I just think he's miserable. And when you're miserable, it shows. It's hard to come to work. Let me be very clear. I mean, I don't have to worry about this stuff because I don't feel that way because I got nothing but love for my peeps, okay? But when you are miserable, it's hard to come to work. It's hard to be enthusiastic about doing your job. Now, you're a professional, you do it. Got to do that. Got to be a professional at all times. But it's hard. And when you don't have that kind of chemistry with your coach that you once had, and it clearly isn't there, and you've made that very, very clear in the offseason by basically saying, could you get me the hell up out of here, please? Yeah. And that wish is not granted. You come back and you play the role like, I never asked to be traded. But your agent literally gave a list of names for the public stratosphere to hear about exactly where you were willing to end up if you didn't stay in Seattle. That has a rippling effect. Now, obviously, he got injured and he was out for a couple of games, and we get all of that. I will remind you, it's the same Russell Wilson last year that threw 40 touchdowns. He's now at 12 this year. Their offense looks pretty anemic. They don't look that interested as far as I'm concerned. And leave it to Mina and Keyshawn to get into the minutia of it all. I watched the game last night. I saw him throw that late touchdown pass, but couldn't convert the 2-point conversion. I get all of that. What I'm saying to y'all is this. I believe in Russell Wilson as a talent. I don't believe that Russell Wilson has nosedived. I just believe that we're looking at a dude that basically has filed papers for a divorce. The divorce isn't finalized. He's still stuck in the marriage that he don't want to be in, and he's got to look the part until he's fortunate enough to get the hell up out of there. That is what I believe I'm watching.
So, Stephen A., I've never been divorced, lucky enough to say that, but as I understand it, it doesn't absolve anyone of checking out of their marriage so far in advance. And in this case, it doesn't absolve Russell Wilson of poor play just because he wants to leave. I mean, it's not about his feelings. It's about what we see on the field. Look, I have been as hard on this coaching staff as anyone. In fact, I remember a few weeks on this show, you saying I was out of my mind for suggesting they might consider a move. I've been hard on the front office. But at a certain point, you got to be hard on the quarterback. Dating back to week 10 of last season when they played the Rams, who I think set the blueprint for how to take away the deep passing play and taken out the games that Russell Wilson has missed so far this year. He has ranked 15th in QBR, 21st in completion percentage, and 24th in first downs per passing attempt. That is a 16-game sample size, an entire season. And I know he's been hurt. And I know the scheme isn't perfect, but you saw last night what I believe you've seen over that stretch of games, which is him passing up underneath options, trying to force the ball downfield. Frankly, average to below average play. And I think Russell can be better. I don't think he's peaked. And if it comes down to choosing between him and Pete Carroll or whoever, I take the quarterback betting that he can rebound to form. But you gotta hold him accountable for his poor play, not just recently, but as I said, over an entire season.
Well, before Keyshawn chimes in, Mina comes, I'd like to say something to you. You've never been divorced. I've never been married. So neither of us are an expert in the form of divorce. And I get all of that. But the one thing that I will say to you is that I don't recall using the word absolve. I didn't absolve Russell Wilson of anything. I'm simply pointing out there are rationales and reasons that come along with suspect play. I'm not saying that you should absolve him from it, but it is a reason.
It's a bad reason. I mean, if what you're saying is true, which is he's playing poorly because he's upset and he wants out, wouldn't you say that merits criticism?
I think that's horrible on his part, but what I am saying is this. You've covered this league exceptionally well, I might add, long enough to see how dudes play when they're miserable compared to how they play when they're happy. And you know that.
You know, I don't know if it's because he's mad, he's not happy, Stephen A. What I would say in all of this and watching Russell Wilson all the way back to the beginning of last year, up until the point that he got hurt, watching him over the last couple of weeks against Green Bay and now Washington, I believe he peaked. But doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It just means that he's where he's at, okay? He can come down. He certainly can get better. Some of those throws due to his finger and gripping the football, possibly so. But he is not playing good football. He hasn't played good football since the beginning of last season. Okay, that's why they went from throwing the ball as much as they did a year ago, Mina, as you know, to running the football. Because Pete Carroll and them saw, okay, we can't do this with Russell. We've got to mix things up. And on top of that, he got his way. He wanted a new offensive coordinator. He wanted to chime in and help make that decision. They allowed him to do that. And it's okay for him to be peaking. He doesn't have to be another 5 great seasons. He can be right where he's at now, clean some of the bad mistakes up that he's made, and still be a really, really good quarterback in the National Football League. And Seattle can still do great things. I think we all felt like he was headed toward MVP status based on what we saw for half of the season last year, and he has not regained that form. And it's okay. It's fine. Maybe he's on the move. Maybe there's a future giant in his life or something like that. Who knows?
New York Giant?
Well, it could be. I mean, who knows, Molly?
Okay.
But I think he has peaked, and I think it is time for a divorce in terms of Pete Carroll and him. One of them has to go. I don't think they can continue to ride this bus down the road in Seattle at all.
And I don't think we can ignore, Mina, what you alluded to and what Keyshawn alluded to some degree. Pete Carroll saw some things, and so obviously a level of belief had dissipated to some degree. Well, if you're Russell Wilson, who's carried this franchise on your shoulders for the last several years, who was an MVP candidate on at least a couple of occasions, who brought a certain level of moxie and talent and results to the table, and all of a sudden this guy is now looking at you and with a raised eyebrow, you're going to look back at him and be like, oh, you questioning me after you've been riding my coattails all of these years? I mean, that kind of stuff messes with your performance. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.